and we are super lucky to have her here. When I think of Nat, I think her greatest strength is her empathy. She's really observant and attuned to the world around her, and because of that, she's able to show a lot of compassion to everyone she interacts with. I know you all will enjoy listening to what she has to share today. So without further ado, Nat Alexander.
Without deviation from the norm, progress is not possible. For example, hi, welcome to my new project. A lot of weird and interesting things have happened to me, so I'm going to share. Now, I know most of us have been dreading this, and I did too, but we might as well get it over with. I'll be going over middle school drama, switching schools, the struggles of life, teenager stuff. I've always been drawn to the forest in some way. Everything about it makes me happy. It was there for me when I wasn't certain of myself, and it gave endless opportunities to learn about the world around me firsthand. Last summer, I spent hours in the woods. I searched for skeletons, old bottles, mushrooms, and anything my little goblin hands could get a hold of. At my dad's house, I gardened every morning, paying special attention to each and every plant as individuals. I grew everything you can imagine: corn, carrots, watermelon, cantaloupe, spinach, and so on. I was taught ecology by the plants I would plant next to each other, and by the field corn that would give home, food, and shelter to both myself and other living things. I learned how to take and give in a perfect balance, how to live, how to act, how to be kind and generous, mean and malicious, gentle and caring, all from paying attention to my surroundings and taking in each moment as its own. My grandma got my dad a few seed packets, and my dad obsessed over planting a garden. Oh no. He built garden boxes and went all out. That's how it started my love for gardening. A few weeks before my 13th birthday, I started working on this drawing. I was sketching these frogs with bow ties, because why not? The first frog I drew looked like a wrinkly old man. I liked what he looked like, and I was wondering how far I could push these frog features. The next thing I know, I was messing around with shading, facial features, and the size of their bow ties. The fat frogs would have tiny, petite bow ties, while the smaller frogs would have bows bigger than their heads. By the time I was 13, I had a bow tie frog army. I filled the whole sketchbook page with just frogs, and it was glorious. My dad's an artist. He taught me everything I know, and I'm very grateful to have him. I've been wanting to play the violin for 6 grueling years, but I never had the opportunity to start lessons. My first semester at Collegiate, I started with drama for my arts class. I didn't want to cram in a musical instrument when I was failing algebra, so I think I made the right call. I was signed up for vocal the second semester. My grades had gone up, and I was ready to tackle the violin. So I talked to Miss Riker to switch to instrumental. After a week or two, I got the word to go talk to Mr. Lerner to figure out my instrument and the rules that would go along with my first year playing. I was ecstatic. The next week's Christmas break started, and I couldn't wait to start playing. The week school started back up, I got my violin, and every night I would cram 5 hours of work in to make up for the years of experience my peers had. Something in my brain clicked when I started. I'm not saying I'm Beethoven or anything, but I was proud of myself, and that doesn't happen very often. I was cramming a lot of work into the violin, and of course I got burned out on playing. I didn't practice for about a week straight. When we came back from our mini winter break, I was required to play. Having a bit of a break must have been good, because when I came back, my main struggles went away and I was playing much smoother. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to play the violin, and it's been one of my dreams for quite a bit, so thank you, Collegiate. I was in my mom's hometown in New York, and we stopped by this little bookstore in the middle of town. The lady that worked in the bookshop recommended this book called Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. The book is about indigenous wisdom and what she has experienced throughout her scientific and spiritual journeys. It's a great book, and it changed my perspectives about the earth. Native American wisdom is focused around every living thing having feelings, which in my opinion is a great place to start if you're trying to be humble. Valuing every living thing as its own has changed my perspective on the world around me. Going into the woods has never felt more soothing. Feeling the wind on your face and looking at the moss growing on the trees. Even if you're not in the woods, just noticing how nature pierces through society's shell is fascinating. The moss growing in between sidewalk cracks, or the tree's roots uprooting the pavement. There's so much to pay attention to if you just look. We all know about middle school drama. It sucks. Turns out throwing these hormonal, awkward, sweaty kids in a room together to learn how to divide a fraction isn't always the shiny, pretty glitter world it sounds like. As well as me maturing and seeing a glimpse of what adult life is like, my opinions and views on society have changed. When we are very emotional, we make impulsive decisions that we regret. I've learned that getting all sides of the story helps with coming to a smooth conclusion, and that taking a break from a relationship to improve your health is okay, especially when all of the people in the relationship are suffering. A few months ago, my friend and I were on a call. She started talking about one of her friends that came out as transgender to their parents. The parents weren't taking it well and were trying to kick them out of the house. My friend was venting to me about how she doesn't believe that trans kids should be able to go on hormones because a lot of trans adults are detransitioning. I started arguing that trans people go on hormones to help with body dysphoria, which is a dissatisfaction with a part or parts of a person's body. This stupid fight lasted for weeks. I'm quite a stubborn person. It's one of my worst qualities. I screamed at her for her opinions on things, and I was trying to get through to her that trans kids should have that right because, number one, hormones are a semi-permanent thing. You have to keep taking them to quote-unquote update a trans person's estrogen or testosterone levels. After having a talk with my mom about the situation, she helped me realize that I can't make someone change their opinions or views on things, but I can help come to a compromise that stops the argument. I asked the question, if they told you their pronouns, would you respect them? And she said, yes, of course. And I realized that just because someone's opinions on something are different from your own, doesn't mean that they're bad. Now, I disagree with her opinion on trans rights, but she believes that. And I'm not one to change her opinions and beliefs. As long as we respect each other, no matter our opinions, we can learn to accept and be better in the future. I'm very grateful to have had that fight with her. Being in constant accord with our opinions and beliefs was getting pretty annoying. Since I was in 6th grade, I've had a bad relationship with myself. Having toxic friends has changed my way of thinking negatively, but I've learned from it, and I realized to stop treating myself badly with bad friends. Having people that lift you up rather than put you down helps. When I switched to collegiate, it was a huge culture shock. Having people suddenly talk to me respectfully and helping was new to me. The social setting in the school is weird as well. Due to the small classes, it's pretty exclusive and hard for you to find your place. After my first week, I wanted to quit collegiate and go to a Zeke or someplace else. My mom said no, and to just keep going and trying until I got and understood the social setting. 2 days later, I met some friends. They introduced me to their friends, and their friends introduced me to theirs. 2 weeks later, I know most of the people in the 8th grade. The start of this year was excruciating, but once I found my place in this grade, it was so much easier to be at collegiate. Turns out middle school is easy, but the people are hard to deal with. No matter what you say, someone's going to argue about it. Your opinions are yours to have about things. Don't let anyone bring you down, and always try to be true to yourself. I've matured a lot in the past year. I've learned about the world around us and how to behave and react in a positive manner to things that go wrong. As I get older and I have more experiences, childhood seems like that one distant uncle that only comes around for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's sad to grow up, but it's sad to be a kid too. If we can learn to enjoy the moment, I think we'd be a lot happier as a community and as individuals. Without deviation from the norm, progress is not possible. For example, with a change in opinion and frame of mind, I've learned that you can do more things and overall be a better person in this world that we have. I'd like to dedicate this speech to my mom, Miss Christie, and my grandpa. My mom has always been there for me and continues to give me love and support for what I'd like to do in the future. Miss Christie is a first grade teacher that I met during the first week of school. She has been there for me since the start of school, and I will forever be grateful for her help, support, and advice. Lastly, my papa, who passed away in 2018. I miss you so much, and I wish you could be here to meet the wonderful people I choose to surround myself with. Thank you for listening.